Okay, so let's talk about the commodities market. A very big story around the world today, a geopolitical waking up everyone. Not really surprising. U.S. President Donald Trump placed additional sanctions on Iran, but this time specifically against Iranian leader. Oil prices jumping on that. Brent has been up so far this week. Oil prices still bouncing around the barrel because of geopolitical tensions and demand pull. Temitope Olugbele is a member of economic think tank at Financial Derivatives. She's live in the studios with me this morning. Quite one of this big story. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is there, but I think you folks also believe that yesterday's monetary policy blueprint announced by the central bank chief is part of what everyone should burn in economic issue.
Yes. Yeah, so we have a few burning economic issues. So we have one that, like you said, oil prices are
bouncing
around on the back of, the U.S.-Iran tensions. We have the CBN announcing its 5-year blueprint, monetary policy blueprint. We also have the external reserves slides to $45 billion, approximately $45 billion, and our naira is flat at 362 naira per dollar at the parallel market. So those are our burning issues.
But if we look at the big story that will impact oil prices, which Nigeria have one permanent eye or two eyes permanently killed on. Has to do with the geopolitical tensions. Brent at $64, that's good news for Nigeria, yes. Looking at our budget 2019.
Definitely it's good news because last month, I think, for at least one day in the last month of May, we had oil price fall below our budget benchmark of $60 per barrel. So, these tensions between the U.S. and Iran, last week we had that Iran allegedly shut down a U.S. drone, and then President Trump tweeting that, they made a big mistake. And then this week we have that he has imposed fresh sanctions on, the nation. And so we have these geopolitical tensions that are currently right now good for Nigeria. So, oil prices at $64, $65 per barrel.
If we just take that into the business of aviation fuel in Nigeria, which is one issue when it comes to, we've seen different stories over the current years around whether it's adulteration, whether there's enough supply, whether they're mixing kerosene with whatever. Well, what's the big story here with this one big business in our oil production, in particular for aviation fuel, or what they call jet fuel or jet A1?
Yes, so aviation fuel, like you said, is a very important produce. It's a sensitive produce because any impurity in the fuel that goes into an aircraft can lead to fatalities. So, and it also accounts for over 30% of airlines' operational costs. And it's obviously, and it moves most times it moves in line with Brent prices. So, you have that a lot of airlines in Nigeria, they are having, because I feel like aviation fuel serves as another reminder for the federal government to boost its productivity in terms of the refinery capacity, because we have the airlines have to import at least 80% of their aviation fuel, and so what they have to do most of the time is to hedge. They have to do what you call fuel hedging, basically delaying the impact of any price volatility or currency movement, because they have to import. And we've seen that a lot of these airlines, most of these airlines have their performance has not been so good, especially the one that is listed. So we have, first of all, we have the nearest ASL, was it last month, I believe, delisted from the Nigerian Stock Exchange market. And then we also have, if we look at the MedView slide, we have that, they're having loss after tax, basically. They're in a loss situation. And so, it's a reminder for us to get our refinery capacity.
I agree. If you're doing aviation business, domestic aviation or aviation anywhere in the world, one of the few things you need to have at the back of your mind is the fuel which goes into it, and the cost of the aircraft, if you buy a new one, and maintenance, as it were. That's basically where most of your costs go into. But as far as aviation, if we stick with this story, is that we don't have the enough refining capacity locally. Nobody's, we're just very scratching the surface.
Definitely scratching the surface.
So we need petrodollar to import jet fuel
Yes,
and sell crude for the aviation fuel, and this is a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure on the airlines, definitely. And with, you know, we are, if you look at the charts, we've seen that there's been an increase in passenger traffic, and it's even projected to increase further based on a report. And, you know, with these bad roads and, you know, insecurity challenges, you have that a lot of Nigerians prefer to go via air than you.
Yeah, was that the story about the man who called for his helicopter while
in traffic? Yeah.
Yes, a couple of days ago, perhaps over the weekend.
Yes, we've all seen that.
I'm sure a lot of folks will be green with envy. Can I hitch a ride with you, well, Mr. Big Man?
Yes, so you
but have it's a very sad story.
It is.
On that we can't fix the roads. So
yes,
so folks will just say, can I call? Just go pick me up here because the roads are so bad. I need to get out of here. Spending so many hours. So this is
story.
You folks at FDC think this is one thing we need to look into.
Definitely, you need to look into it. We need to. Because if you take out the fact that, you know, airlines have to hedge against currency movements, and remember the recessionary period, all they had to go through to just be able to import this fuel into the country. And you don't want a situation where there's adulteration. You don't want a situation where they have to use dodgy means, let's put it quote and unquote, you know, to get their craft moving and, you know, get passengers flying, because that could lead to all sorts of fatalities. So definitely.
But we're very happy that we haven't had no airline fatality in Nigeria in the last 5 years, and the last few accidents we had, fortunately, thank goodness, no fatality were recorded. Even one during the electoral campaign involving the vice president. So very fortunate. We're happy as a nation. We haven't had any. So we need to therefore focus on why we need to make sure that, like you said, that domestic airlines don't start cutting corners because of the pressure when it comes to getting cash to import aviation fuel or whatever means they use.
Crafts moving. Yes. And we have 4 refineries in Nigeria. We keep saying this. We have refineries in Port Harcourt and, you know, other states, and it's definitely time now.
Maybe Dangote will do a little bit of that, and perhaps some of the folks who are licensed to do the modular refineries will, perhaps 1 or 2 of them will focus on aviation fuel for us. That's a big market if they do that. That can just pocket most of the money for that and just make that as a focus area, as a refinery. If I'm doing a modular refinery, I'll just maybe do jet aviation fuel, maybe a little diesel on the side, and then I'll have a market there. Thank you very much, folks, at FDC for bringing this very important. Sometimes when you fly and you come down, you don't know what it takes.
Yes, definitely.
It's very important. Thank you for keeping an eye on aviation fuel for us. Temitope Olugbile from Financial Derivatives Company. When we come back, we'll try to unpack the new board of the SEC. What's in it for the markets and for everyone? It's been 4 years in the making. Now they are here.